They called them crazy. They were not crazy. They were early. You were lied to, repeatedly, with paperwork. Let us enter. Number 7. The Pentagon UFO files. The United States Department of Defense released over 160 documents, videos, and photographs related to UAP sightings, spanning from 1947 to the present, publicly accessible, no security clearance required. Among them, infrared footage of an object executing multiple 90-degree turns near the ocean surface at 80 miles per hour. Apollo mission photographs with 5 separate marked areas above the lunar horizon, unexplained. A 1965 audio transcript from the Gemini 7 mission, in which astronaut Frank Borman reports a bogey at 10 o'clock high, explicitly distinguished from the rocket booster he also had in view. Field reports from federal agents documenting an object that appeared to block a light beam entirely, which resumed projecting normally when aimed at the same coordinates moments later. The Department of Defense wrote, "These cases are unresolved. We are unable to make a definitive determination about the nature of the observed phenomena." For 70 years, the message was, "There is nothing to see." The message now is, "We do not know." That transition from denial to admitted uncertainty is the most significant movement a civilization can make. It is not comfortable. It is not reassuring, but it is the only direction in which something real can be found. Number 6. The Phoenix Lights 10,000 Witnesses. March 13, 1997, Phoenix, Arizona. Beginning at 8 in the evening, thousands of residents reported a formation of lights moving silently across the sky. Slowly, low, enormous, wider than a football field, no sound whatsoever. Witnesses included pilots, police officers, and military personnel. Roughly 10,000 people reported the sighting that night. It remains one of the largest mass UFO observations in recorded history. The official response came quickly. Military flares, training exercise, case closed. There was one problem. The flares were dropped at 10 o'clock. The formation had been reported since 8. The official explanation arrived 2 hours after the event it was meant to explain. The governor of Arizona held a press conference and mocked the reports. He brought out a staff member in an alien costume. The crowd laughed. The story faded. 10 years later, in 2007, the governor gave a different account. He had seen the object himself that night. It was enormous. It was not any aircraft he recognized. He had staged the press conference because he did not want to cause panic. I find that press conference more interesting than the lights. The decision to perform disbelief rather than admit uncertainty. I have seen that choice made on other worlds. It never ends the way the ones who make it expect. Number 5. Bob Lazar and Element 115. In 1989, a man named Bob Lazar appeared on local Las Vegas television. He claimed to have worked on extraterrestrial technology for the U.S. government. His central claim, the propulsion systems used an element with atomic number 115, an element that did not appear in the periodic table. He was laughed at comprehensively. In 2003, scientists synthesized element 115 for the first time in a laboratory. In 2016, it was officially added to the periodic table. Moscovium. Lazar had been making this claim for 14 years before the element existed on any official record. He did not claim to have invented it. He claimed to have seen it. The stable version he described has not been found. What scientists synthesized decays in milliseconds. But the element that could not exist exists, and that prevented his claims from being dismissed quite so easily. The distinction between seeing something and inventing it seems to me rather fundamental. I note it was not always treated as such. Number 4. Area 51, the base that did not exist. For decades, the U.S. government denied the existence of a facility in the Nevada desert. No base, no activity. The name alone, Area 51, was enough to mark someone as unreliable. In 2013, the CIA released classified documents confirming its existence. A covert test site for experimental aircraft, among them the U-2 reconnaissance plane, flying at altitudes most people believed were physically impossible at the time. Flights over populated areas had generated hundreds of sighting reports for years. The population had watched real objects. The government had called it imagination. They had not denied it because there was nothing there. They had denied it because there very much was. And what it implied was inconvenient. The energy spent concealing something is rarely proportionate to the thing itself. It is proportionate to what the thing implies. Number 3. AATIP, the Pentagon's secret UFO program. In 2007, the U.S. Department of Defense began a classified program to investigate UFO sightings, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. $22 million, 5 years, completely denied. In 2017, the New York Times published its existence. 3 videos accompanied the story, captured by military pilots, showing objects with flight characteristics that remain officially unexplained. The Department of Defense confirmed authenticity. For years, the official position, we are not investigating this, because there is nothing to investigate. The actual position, we are investigating this because we cannot explain it. I observed a civilization once, the Kasari, that spent 400 years officially denying the existence of a second moon. When they finally acknowledged it, they held a ceremony, very dignified. The moon was unmoved. The moment a denial becomes a reflex, it stops being a statement. It becomes a location. Number 2, USS Nimitz, the encounter nobody could explain. November 2004, Pacific Ocean. Navy fighter pilots from the USS Nimitz were redirected to investigate an unknown contact. Commander David Fravor encountered a white, featureless object. No wings, no exhaust, no visible propulsion. It mirrored his movements precisely. Then, it accelerated from a stationary hover to beyond visual range in under 1 second. Radar confirmed the object had descended from 24 kilometers to 15 meters in less than a second. Forces beyond what any biological pilot could survive, and beyond what officials have publicly explained. The USS Princeton had been tracking these objects for 2 consecutive weeks prior. They would appear at 80,000 feet, descend to sea level, hover, then accelerate to hypersonic speeds. No propulsion signature detected at any point. Multiple radar systems, multiple vessels, multiple trained pilots. Same phenomenon repeatedly. The incident report was filed. 13 years of silence followed. In 2017, the Pentagon released the footage, officially unexplained. There is a specific quality to institutional silence after an event like this. It is not the silence of nothing happening. It is the silence of something being decided. 13 years is not how institutions respond to weather balloons. Number 1. David Grush, the testimony under oath. July 2023. David Grush testified before the United States Congress, not as a private individual, as a former senior intelligence officer with direct access to classified UAP programs, under oath, with full legal consequences attached to any false statement. His testimony, the U.S. government possesses objects of non-human origin, biological material of non-human origin, within a multi-decade program of crash retrieval and reverse engineering, a program to which he himself had been denied access. Not a journalist, not an enthusiast, an official under oath before the United States Congress. He said this under oath. The world changed the subject. What I am about to say has no equivalent in human institutional records, but I have observed this pattern on other worlds. The first formal admission is never the largest one. It is the smallest one that could still be made without collapsing everything else. What follows is always larger. Always. The silence after Grush's testimony was not absence, it was calculation. You are the civilization that finally said it out loud. The files are open, the explanations have not followed. And that, for a species that has been asking this question since before it had words for the question, is not an ending. It is finally a beginning.